So every year, we're just flooded with new UI/UX design trends, right? But look, if you're actually building a product, there's really only one question that matters. Which of these trends actually move the needle for the business? In this explainer, we're going to cut through the noise and focus on the strategic trends that deliver real, measurable results, turning design from just a cost center into a true competitive advantage. All right, so this really gets to the heart of the problem. There's this huge gap between the incredible potential of great UX and the reality of just chasing shiny new trends that don't actually deliver. So let's kick things off with the one question every single product leader should be asking. This is it. This is the whole ball game right here. The question is, are we investing in design that actually improves our conversion, boosts retention, and grows the bottom line? Or are we just redecorating? Let's take a look at the numbers. Okay, the potential here it's absolutely massive. The data is crystal clear on this. For every single dollar you invest in a smart user experience, you can see up to a $100 return. That's 100x ROI. I mean, it is one of the single best investments a business can make. But, and this is the really crucial point, that 100x return doesn't just happen because you adopted the latest fad. No way. It comes from strategic implementation. It's like most of these trends are just noise. Our job is to find the signal, the specific patterns that connect directly to our business goals. So where do we start? Let's dive into what I'm calling the foundational shifts. These aren't just, some trendy novelties. These are the new baseline for how users expect to interact with technology. First up, we've got immersive tech, things like augmented and virtual reality. And look, what might have seemed like a total gimmick just a couple of years ago, well, now it's a serious driver of profit, especially in e-commerce. And why is that? Because it solves a really fundamental problem of shopping online. And this chart, it shows a huge shift in how people think and behave. Over half of all shoppers feel more confident about buying something when they can visualize it with AR. And even more telling, a majority of them will now actively choose the retailers who offer it. So yeah, this is no longer just a nice to have. And you can see this working in the real world, right? It's brilliant. Think about Warby Parker letting you try on glasses from your couch, or IKEA's app showing you exactly how that sofa looks in your living room. These aren't just cool features for the sake of being cool. They directly attack customer uncertainty. And that right there is the punchline. When customer confidence goes up, return rates go way down. And fewer returns mean higher profit margins. It's a straight line from a great user experience to a much healthier bottom line. All right, the second big foundational shift, it's the absolute explosion of voice. And as you can see from this timeline, we are not talking about some niche market here. With over 128 million Americans already using voice search, in a market that's going to hit $30 billion, the strategic play isn't just about smart speakers anymore. It's about creating these hybrid experiences where touch and voice work together to make products faster and way more accessible. Next up, let's talk about hyper-personalization. Interfaces that adapt to you in real time. And the business impact? It's just undeniable. As these bars clearly show, the effect on key metrics like retention and getting shoppers to come back is huge. In fact, some of the market leaders are crediting personalization with up to a 62% improvement in retention. It's simple. When an experience feels like it was made just for you, you stick around. Okay, but what about just standing out, visually? We're seeing brands like Spotify use these really bold, raw, almost brutalist aesthetics to just cut through all the noise. The promise here is huge, powerful brand differentiation. But the risk, as you can see, is very, very real. If you're not super careful, these expressive styles can create major accessibility problems. So the takeaway is super simple. You've got to test, test, and test again. Okay, let's pivot. Because we're talking about a complete paradigm shift now. Artificial intelligence. AI is totally changing the game. We're moving away from designing reactive interfaces, the ones that just sit there and wait for you to click something, to creating proactive experiences that actually anticipate what you need before you even know you need it. This is what's powering that next level of personalization. And really, this whole revolution stands on three main pillars. First, you've got AI tools that automate all the boring, repetitive tasks for designers. Second, there's predictive analytics that tell us what users are probably going to do next. And third, the real cutting-edge stuff, generative UI, which can create a unique interface for every single user. So let's zero in on that second pillar for a second, predictive analytics, because the business case here is absolutely rock solid. According to McKinsey, just using predictive analytics to anticipate what your users need can lift revenues by up to 15%. I mean, that's a massive impact. And you see this in action literally everywhere. It's Airbnb suggesting a new place for you to visit. It's LinkedIn recommending a job that's a perfect fit. It's Duolingo realizing you're struggling and adapting the lesson for you. This is proactive design. It's using data to make the whole experience feel totally effortless, like the app just gets you. And this takes it all a huge step further. Generative UI is pretty much the ultimate form of personalization. We're not just talking about showing you different content, we're talking about dynamically rebuilding the entire interface, the layout, the navigation, everything, based on your specific behavior in real time. So think of it like this. Regular personalization might show you different items on the shelf. Generative UI rebuilds the entire store just for you. All right, so we've talked about new ways to interact, we've talked about the AI revolution, but honestly, none of that matters without this last strategic layer, building trust with your users and proving your value to the business. And that trust, well, it all starts with privacy. Just take a look at these numbers from Cisco. They're pretty staggering. The vast majority of people are worried about their data. They want more control, and more than 3/4 of them will actively avoid companies they don't trust. There's a reason brands like Apple have turned privacy into a core selling point. It's a massive competitive advantage. And that brings us to our final and maybe the most crucial trend of all, quantified UX. Basically, this is how you prove your value. So instead of saying, hey, the new design feels better, you say, our navigation improvement reduced support tickets by 20%, which saved the company X dollars. This table does a brilliant job of showing you how to connect specific design work to the metrics your CEO actually cares about. And by the way, this data is the fuel that powers all that predictive AI we just talked about, creating this amazing, virtuous cycle of improvement. Okay, so let's tie all this together. How do we make this an actual playbook you can use? We're going to wrap this up by hitting the key strategic questions that come out of all this analysis. So bottom line, if you have to prioritize, if you have to place your bet somewhere, where do you put your money? What is the single most important trend for driving real business ROI? The answer, without a doubt, is generative UI. It's the ultimate expression of that AI-driven, proactive personalization we've been talking about. It combines the power of predictive analytics with real-time interface magic to deliver a truly one-to-one experience, but at scale. Seriously, this is where the biggest competitive advantages are going to be won. So what's the real takeaway here? The winning strategy, it's not about chasing every shiny new trend that comes along. It's about being ruthlessly selective. It's about picking the technologies that solve real business problems, build unbreakable trust with your customers, and let you walk into any boardroom and prove your value with cold, hard data. The future belongs to those who make technology work for people, not the other way around.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate you. Check out the next video on this topic, or subscribe to our channel to keep up with our latest explainer videos, live webinars, and other insights into technology solutions.